back to the Berg Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. With me today is Ford.
Hey, how's it going?
And Dan.
Hey, everybody.
And today, well, I guess the day we're recording
Now we've given it away.
Shoot.
That's all right.
We're celebrating our annual Years of Service dinner today. And is this the fourth year, I think? Is it 5 years, 4 years?
I honestly don't remember how many years it's been. I remember why we did it, what it's become, but as far as that perspective, I think it's probably the fifth time we've done it.
I think 5. I think you're right, because I was just thinking, like, I remember I've got something that says 22 on it.
Yeah.
And that would have been like the year after the 5+ year or whatever. So, yeah. So I think you're right. I think it's about 5th year-ish of celebrating our Years of Service dinner.
Yes.
Which is a really cool tradition that we started, where we kind of get together everyone in the organization who's been with us more than 5 years and celebrate.
And their spouse.
Yeah,
or significant other.
Significant other. And bring a guest. We have dinner. We celebrate that tenure, the
5 year
time.
That's
year
right.
together.
That's where we started. Was at its core was the 5 year, because when we started there was nobody 10 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant tenure.
Oh,
not 10 year.
Not 10 year.
Yes, but you're right.
Water.
Water.
Yeah,
It's water.
I was going to say that was my Lancaster County coming out.
Yeah. So it's.
But yeah,
no, 5 years or more.
5 years or more. Yeah. So anyone who's
And it's
with
your
us-
6th year. Just for people that are like, what? I don't get to
Oh,
do it.
yes.
It's,
your
we're celebrating the prior
years of full-time employment for our co-op and intern friends.
You know, it's starting to sound like we have a lot of rules to this club, but
It's really pretty simple.
it's pretty simple. And I think that when it's at its core, it's like super simple. But I think we had to make sure we clarify.
There's always like something unique, or someone had a unique
Robbie's
experience.
Robbie's always the one, right?
Yeah.
He's the original, where he's probably been with us 7+ years now.
Yeah. He's been probably 18 months to 2 years more than he actually has worked for us.
Yeah,
per
but
full-time.
he had some. He was in the co-op experience with the school and some part-time.
Yeah.
Well, and we had to put some parameters just because otherwise there is no way to define it. But the reality was that we knew that someone that's been with us for 5 years as part of the team, that's a special thing, right? I mean, especially in today's world where, length of job stay is 24 months, 36 months. It's in certain industries.
It's so crazy.
We all grew up, our parents, with quotation marks, spent 20+ years.
Yeah, my dad was 50 years.
Yeah, your dad was a long time at. He moved here, so he was working somewhere else before that. But he still spent a lot of years at New Enterprise, or whatever they call themselves now.
Yeah.
Martin's Limestone, I guess, or whenever he started. But people stayed and created a career at a company. And when we started Berg in the very beginning, it was like, oh, I want to retire with all these guys, and I had to adjust my targeting, because that's just not really how the world works. So some of the original employees are no longer with us. Mm-hmm. But, it's been in 5 years, and then there's people that I think are, 13?
13 is the max.
Yeah, 13 is the max this year.
Joe's in his 14th year now, right?
Yeah. And so, but to be spending that much time together, as a team, or
I wonder if that's
jobs.
the longest for. Do you think we should ask Joe that tonight? Is that the longest Joe's worked anywhere in his career? I mean, I would imagine it is, but I don't know. He was a long time.
He was at Myers for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be an interesting question for Joe.
He probably didn't leave. He only left there because the company closed down. I mean, he was a different type of setup there. But
sure.
Yeah, no, it's just so we wanted to honor the people for that. And we talk on this podcast a lot about food. And so one way we could do that is by having everybody together for a meal. And so nice little meal. Everybody just a small token of our appreciation for the fact that, you figure if you do 2,088 hours a year is like an average, some more or less depending on the weather and things of that nature. But if you start doing that math, that's a lot of hours that we've spent
5 years,
together.
10,000 hours. 10 years, you're at 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Joe's creeping up on 30,000 hours. It's crazy when you think about that. And Joe's been more than that. I don't even need to check any forms. I'm well aware that Joe's beyond that.
We know it's a lot.
Yeah. So, that's the whole point behind it. It's a nice little time to, do something off time. We do a bunch of other events, but this is something just to recognize the people that have spent that extra time with us.
You know who's going to be there this year?
Who's that?
Is Brian.
Special guest?
Yeah, special guest Brian.
Brian is going to be
Brian's going to attend. Brian's in a different category. He had to make it to some other years. How many years are you now?
I'm 10.
Oh, so this is his 10. So Brian was not invited until 10 years. He's a special case. We were like, Brian, you cannot be in the club. So Robbie, Brian had to wait longer than Robbie. So now we should talk about Brian, who wasn't allowed to go until he was 10 years.
That was,
I remember every year we'd be like, what about this date? And you're like, listen, I can't come anytime between these and these months. And it was like, and we picked the time of the year because the weather was changing.
Right.
And we wanted it to be a nice event for everybody that could make it. And I think you were usually about to, every year we just kind of knew at the point you just couldn't make it. But everybody else, like, it's hopefully not too late into summer where people have other scheduling commitments and stuff like that. And so it's great that you're able to
I would
actually
join
us.
Into it for it. I would say, like, come on, Brian. Like,
one night you can do it. Like,
you
it's
can
a practice. You can do it.
Yeah. Just skip that one night.
Yeah,
it'll be
exactly.
all right.
I know. I just, I'm just so loyal to my obligations.
You are.
So.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I always get to see the pictures. I've witnessed it from afar for many years, and I'm excited.
Are you aware of the pie eating contest?
Yeah, I was told. Yeah.
There are some special things just for your attendance.
Yeah, I know. I was told everyone has to sing a song.
Yeah, I mean, you go first because it's your first time there, so you have to go first.
Yeah,
everybody will go right after you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're getting a bunch of people that can't show up at the last minute.
A bunch of last minute cancellations.
Thankfully, they're not going to hear this until afterwards.
Yeah, they'll be like, "What was going on there?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then also, like, there's usually some type of swag that is denoting that, just because we wanted something that was different for people,
right?
That they could wear that showed that they were part of this team for a long time.
Yeah, we've done some different things over the years. This one will be different. It's different from anything we've ever done before, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's something to kind of just acknowledge and commemorate that time that we've spent together.
Well, there's like companies in the day, they get like a watch or something, a pen at something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not something really in our industry, and it's not really something in general anymore that really happens. And so this is kind of a little bit of a throwback to that scenario that now we don't have any besides yourself as a new guest this year because you'll be able to make it. But it's funny, we're like, we don't have any new 5-year people this year. And then what happened 5 years ago that would create that scenario?
It's a pretty simple one.
Yeah, that thing where they got shut down for a while. And so we've had other people who join our team, but nobody's been here.
Created a weird gap that year, because obviously, we did, it's not like we didn't add anybody in 2020, but just with everything that was happening, the shutdowns, the startups, the restrictions we were all dealing with, we had some folks who wasn't the right fit for them, wasn't the right fit for us, and didn't have anyone from that year. That's the actual 5-year, but
we have a group. I was talking to Tracy that we have a group coming up. I don't know if it's next year or the year after.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, there's a good chunk of people that we got where we found people that were the right fit for us and us for them. And we see that. That's the funny thing when when you're looking at the list and everything is how it's grouped. It sort of speaks to where we were as a company, what we were doing. How diligent we were both about the hiring process and the training process, the onboard, like all of those things to make it that this would work. It's not luck. It tells a story if you look at it.
Yeah. It kind of grown in chunks, right? And sometimes, we've talked about it at length here on the podcast. Sometimes when you have to grow in chunks like that, you hire people out of just sheer need. You got to have people sometimes. Yep. And we've found that, like, when you see the big ebbs and flows, we maybe were put in a spot where we had to have somebody. And for them or for us, maybe for whatever reason, it wasn't the right fit. But when we grow at the right pace and we grow for our culture, right? We hire people who are good culture fits.
Yep.
That's when we see these chunks of folks that kind of make these anniversaries.
And we. I would
imagine that most of the people in this group weren't hired in the spring. So I'm pretty sure. I know some of them, like Joe Stauffer was a fall hire.
A lot of them are. I was going to say that. Tracy and I have looked at this. A lot of them are late summer, fall hires. So people who were actively working, but for whatever reason wanted to join our team.
Yeah.
And we were at a point where we said, okay, yes, we would want them at that point. Where is in the spring, early winter, you're trying to hire. But I was talking to somebody yesterday, a guy who runs another company, and he was asked me a couple things, and he said, "What do you think of the labor market?" He was like, "I felt like it was getting better, but I'm not getting the people I want." And I was like, "Well, I think there's two different things you're saying there." I said, "If you go back 2 years ago, we couldn't find anybody. There was no people. You know what I mean? Like there was nobody. To get somebody, you had to find somebody who was actively working and not looking, and then know somebody that could talk to him to try and get him to come over." Or it was somebody that you knew that was like, this was not going to go great, but it was a need.
Right.
I said, and what you're talking about now is you're not finding the people you want. I was like, if you would hire the people you don't want, there are people to hire. He was like, "Well, I don't want to do that." And I was like, "Well, no, I realize that no one does." Yeah. I said, "But you're being more selective. It's not the labor market has improved. It's just it is harder to find good qualified people than it is to find completely unqualified people."
Sure. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of people because of the internet that apply for things that aren't really maybe where they should be applying. Things of that nature has happened.
We still get that. I feel like
forklift operator.
Yeah. We just got a forklift operator who applied for an accounting manager position.
All right. Well,
there we go.
They're good for the heavy lift.
Yep. Yeah. They're here for the workload. I know. I was just, I think there's a lot of that. I think like a lot of spamming, a lot of spray and pray, and so I don't even know if it's like that the workforce available isn't as good. I just think that like the mechanism for finding people has made it so diluted at times as you're just
so I have an interesting thought on this that I was thinking about a while back, right? Like, so social media as a whole, it does it everywhere, I feel like, but in this specific scenario, social media should make it easier to find people, right? It connects people. But in connecting them in the way that it does, at the rate that it does, and at the turnover that it does, there's so much noise that you may miss the thing, if that makes any sense. I feel like when it was the old days, like if someone went to the store and bought the newspaper and then looked through the classified ads to find an ad and then called you, like that person is 4 or 5 steps. First they decided they wanted to have a job.
Sure.
Then they had means to go to a store to buy a paper, whether that was the energy and willpower to walk or they have a vehicle that's insured and has gas and they can go. Then they get the paper and find it and say, like, this is a place I would want to work. Right? And they don't know anything about it. Like now there's pictures of shiny equipment and there's all guys that are happy and everybody's having a lunch and everything's great. And you didn't do anything. You're still sitting on your couch in your pajamas. Like you've done nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I think it's actually one of these things and I think it's true of social media. It creates this false sense, then you've done none of the legwork to be able to say you'd be a good employee.
It'd be interesting too, because I wonder, like, Tori and Tracy obviously deal a lot with that, and I would be curious if it's easier if you're like a national organization. Is social media more effective if you're a national organization? Because I just think about us, we get people who follow our social media platforms from all over the place because they're interested in the type of work we do, or they want to see the equipment or whatever it might be, right? And so I think at times we'll get like a lot of messages on our social media platform about, hey, are you guys hiring? I live in Chicago. Hey, are you guys hiring? I live in Sacramento. And it's like, well, we're hiring, but you gotta live here. And there is no, unfortunately, remote heavy equipment operator positions in our organization currently.
And when we talk about the next group of people, and I'm not talking next year, but I'm saying in the next 5 years, like you look at it, and Tracy and Tori do a great job, but the place we really, I feel like, have been really successful is in the trade schools, right? In the local community with our own team, whether sometimes it is like, because Tracy and Tori spend a lot of time at those venues.
I think that's it. I mean, I think it's still the relationship. So like, I think that the time that yourself and Dylan Clemmis and Tracy and Tori are spending developing relationships with those students and with those professors and those programs, I think that's meaningful. Like, you could say the trade schools, and I wouldn't disagree, because you got a concentrated group of individuals ready to like enter the job
in
market.
my newspaper
right?
argument, like they've already done 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah, like they're ready to enter the job market and they've already done a couple of steps, which is some like the training and the experience and stuff like that.
Just to showing up.
But I think that it's still a little bit of like a, hey, who wants me type thing unless they've got a relationship. And so I think that that's that relationship piece. And we see it, you know, I wonder this, how many of the folks at our years of service dinner are a referral from someone else who was is at the years of service
And
dinner?
I feel like that could be an interesting like question as a hand raise. You know,
Well,
you
because it's
say,
funny
like,
too, like
Because that's what I was just
the
like,
long term ones
Yeah.
are like people that like I knew.
yeah.
The Joes, you guys,
They
both
came from your own
Joes.
internal referral network.
Like I knew them outside of, or I knew they were in construction, or I knew whatever the scenario was, and then like you said, like the referral on the referral, or like
Yeah.
or like
Keith-
Greg. Like
a
you didn't
Keith-
know Greg.
No, but I knew someone that knew
you knew
Greg.
someone who knew Greg who
Right.
said like that's your guy.
That's the guy.
right.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, so it's because it's just
So
and
it's
that's-
still a relationship.
it's still relationship
Yeah.
driven. And
But
that's
I think
don't
you
wanna
have to
take
have the
anything
other
away from-
piece too, because like with the youngsters, like they need to see that stuff too, right? Like
Yeah.
they need to make sure, like that's your legitimizer.
It makes us not old.
Well, I mean, like, oh, they have.
Nothing can do that, Brian.
I mean, he's talking about newspapers, so we're talking about old here.
I'm trying to make a point.
These guys are like, what? Where do you find this?
I saw someone the other day with a newspaper, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Where did he get that newspaper from?"
And now they're like $8. Back then, these be like
Are they
50
eight?
cents. The last one I bought
moly.
was like a Sunday. I bought a Sunday New York Times, and I think it was like $7.
Yeah, I feel like Aaron
And I'm like,
sent
wait,
me.
you're advertising like this whole hustle is wrong. Like it's wrong.
I felt like Aaron sent me like not this year, but maybe last year to get like she wanted the Black Friday, which she doesn't go Black Friday shopping, so I don't know why.
But she wanted the leaflets.
She wanted that
or-
like,
yeah.
and I like had to go, and it was like $5. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not even going to save $5. Like, how about we don't even need anything? You know what I mean? How about we don't buy the paper, and if you want to go to the store, just go.
Yeah.
If it's a good deal, you buy that.
I always get mad about like the paywalls for the online news.
yeah.
Like,
yeah, I get so mad.
I'm like, I don't want to buy the news. I just want to be able to find it.
Well, and like nothing's worse than give you the headline. You like click, and then you like realize you're in a paywall. And you're like, and then I'm like, sometimes if I really want to read it, I'll like just Google and maybe some other article.
That's what I do too.
Put the same article somewhere else.
Looking for the free source.
Everything got so used to being that.
I'll be the product. They're going to get my
Yeah.
IP location.
they're gonna get
they're going to
everything they
advertise to me.
Yeah.
I'll be the product. That's fine.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think a lot of it, you know, like referrals of a referral, that matters too, because that's something we promote as well. Is like if you're here, you're really enjoying being part of the team, and you know somebody else, bring them on. Like you
Right.
know, those are the
It's a
best, some
big
of the
piece
best
of our-
ones.
Big piece of our growth for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
especially lasting growth, I should say.
Yeah, and it is one of the. I mean, I like when we get together as a company
Sure. Yeah.
on any of the events, but this one is a little different, you know, because it's like a friend group inside of a friend group. You know what I mean? Like these are people that I've known now for a decade, or
Right.
you know what I mean. So I mean, we've interacted. They know, they know what I'm about, what my kids are. They see me in, and I think it is something that is really important for us as we continue to grow. Is that we realize the only way that happened was because of the level of interaction we always maintained with the team.
Sure.
And so it's important not just for us, but for Dylan Clemis and Anthony and Lindsay and Jack and Stetson. You know what I mean? All of these people that are in the office to get out there and be in the field, like be with the team, see the team, know who their kids and their families. And you know what I mean? Like Paul used to like to snowmobile, you know what I mean? And Greg has cars, you know what I mean? Ed likes, I think, trains, right? Like in other words, Ed's not even with us, but in other words, I knew all these factors of these guys. You know
And
what I mean?
farm all tractors. He was a big farm.
Yeah,
all
see,
tractor.
so and I think that's important. I think that it can't be lost in the social media and in podcasts and in our newsletters that you still have to go out there and have physical, real conversations, see the work, see the people, interact, because it creates something that's more lasting, that makes people want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want longevity from your team, then not only do you need to be committed to the team, but you need to be committed with engaging with the team and maintaining, building a relationship. You know, it doesn't relationships don't happen because they just happen. You work at them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, especially because not every day is a glory walk.
Not
right?
rainbow
So, like,
and sunshines.
no, and so like if you know that the person on the other side, when something's not going well, still has your best interest at heart, that goes a long way of you not being like peace out on the first time something goes goofy, because you know that, like, you know, we're in construction, things aren't always
Something might go wrong.
Something might go wrong.
Something could go wrong.
But if
Something
you know,
will go wrong.
if you have that relationship with that person and you know that they're trying to do the best for you that they can, even if it's not at that point the best thing that you feel, it just creates that ability to look over or continue the process without just, you know, escaping left and right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a neat event. I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited that it's something that we continue to do, and I think that it's a fun way to, like you said earlier, like, you know, but we like get away from the work, but be with these people that you've spent a significant amount of time with, and, you know, break bread and enjoy each other's company and share a meal, and really.
So,
It's a
really
great
cool.
event, and I look forward to it every year. So,
I stopped by earlier to drop some stuff off, and the fun committee has done a really nice job.
I swung through. They're doing a great job.
Setting up. Yeah, it looks really good. So cool. That's probably wraps it up.
well, for those that we'll see there, wonderful, and for hopefully some others we will see
Look forward to
in the
seeing
couple years,
in
right?
the future year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look forward to future dinner.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us today, folks. We hope you got something from this, and we hope you come back for another episode.